What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel here at Rescue Garage. Today we're going to be leveling out this 4Runner. It's a 1986 Toyota 4Runner. As you can see, the rear is lower than the front. The tire clearance is much lower here. So what I'm going to be doing is doing the ZUK mod, ZUK mod, known on the internet. I'll be using 3rd gen coils, and I'll be stuffing them between the leaf spring and the frame itself, so hopefully it brings it up a little bit, and just enough to clear the tires a little bit better and level it out. These 4Runners are getting older, and these leaves were starting to wear out after some time, so this is a cheap way to do this, and hopefully it comes out okay. These are the springs we're going to be using. I bought these off Amazon for about 37 bucks shipped. They're just coil springs off of, supposed to be for a 3rd gen by a company named Moog, M-O-O-G. I'll try to link the part number below on the bio there. These are some of the tools you'll be needing for this project. Some jack stands, a jack, some type of tool, whether it's a ratchet. In this case I have a little power tool there. You're gonna need a 17 and a 19 millimeter socket. If you can find one of these, great. It will help you out a lot. Spread the springs apart away from the frame. I used a piece of wood in between that as well. So this is all you need. This is a pretty easy project. It took me about an hour. The main whole deal here is, you see this spacing between the bump stop and the frame. I have literally no travel here. Between these 2 points, this is going to be bouncing and hitting this all the time. So the whole purpose of this is to hopefully fit this coil in between the leaf spring and the frame. Okay, so that way you get a little bit more space in between, and hopefully you get more travel out of it. As you can see, it has a big open end and a smaller one here, and this one will go to the bump stop. So when this thing is fully lifted, right now it's at full droop. When it's fully lifted, the bump stop sits about here, so I have no travel in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this coil in between the leaf spring and the frame. Hopefully that pretty much keeps it as it is, and I'll get a little bit more travel, and hopefully it won't be bouncing off the frame here every once in a while. The first thing I'm going to do here, take off the shock. After that, unbolt the U-bolts here, so I can be able to move this over and see if I can slip it on. Okay guys, so I was able to get the coil spring in there. So the first thing I did here was use the old jack that I had, so you could push against the leaf spring, push down on it, and use a piece of wood to push against the frame. That way I had a little bit, so it opened up the leaf spring more, so I was able to kind of get it in there. And also with the bump stop, U-bolts are in there. A little finicky, had to work it around it a little bit, but I'll be bolting everything down. So honestly, this is the cheapest and easiest way to do this, to lift the 1st gen 4Runner. Alright guys, so this is what we ended up with at the end of the lift. As you can see, I actually ended up getting some rake on it, so the rear is a little bit higher than the front now, just a little bit. So what you can do is you can actually cut a couple coils and bring it down. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to try to let the spring settle as much as possible, and so I don't really have to worry too much about that. As you can see, it's a pretty easy mod. All you do is put the spring between the bump stop and the frame. It's not hard at all, and honestly this project only took me about an hour or so. I kept the original shocks that I had on there.
what I'm gonna do, what I really recommend, is getting some lift shocks with maybe like a 1-inch lift or 2-inch lift. Get more travel out of it. If you want, from what it looks like, these springs will not slip out at full droop, so hopefully it stays like that. If anything, I could just put them back in there. It wasn't that hard, like I said. So the next thing here will be clean all this up, brush all that off, and get a nice coat of paint on there, nice and clean. And I'll be doing an update video here pretty soon on all this, so stay tuned. Thanks, guys.